Welcome to the complete setup guide for the Venom model indicator. In this video, we're going to walk you through every single feature, how the indicator works, what each setting does, how to read the signals on your chart, and how to customize everything for your trading style. Whether you're using this on gold, forex, or indices, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to get the most out of it. If you haven't already, watch our Venom model Gold Edition video first to understand the strategy behind this indicator. Link is in the description. If you don't have the indicator yet and want to get access, head to the DTCtools.com. Link is also in the description. Let's get into it. Before we get into the settings, let's understand what this indicator actually does. It automates a three-step process. Step 1. Before each trading session starts, the indicator calculates a range. It looks at the high and low of the last 90 minutes, that's the default, and draws these two horizontal lines on the chart. The red line is the range high, the green line is the range low. The shaded area between them is the range zone. These levels represent where liquidity is sitting. Stop losses and pending orders from retail traders tend to cluster at these obvious highs and lows. Step 2. During the session, the indicator watches for a liquidity sweep. That's when price breaks above the range high or below the range low. When that happens, you see a sweep label appear on the chart. After the sweep, the indicator starts looking for a balanced price range, or BPR, to form. A BPR is when two opposing fair value gaps overlap at the same price level. One bearish FVG and one bullish FVG, and the zone where they overlap is the BPR. The indicator draws this shaded box on the chart with BPR written inside. The key thing is the FVGs have to form in the right order. For a buy setup after a low sweep, the bearish FVG forms first as price displaces down, then the bullish FVG forms as price reverses up. For a sell setup, it's the opposite. Step 3. The indicator doesn't enter the moment the BPR forms. It waits. It waits for price to come back and touch the BPR zone on a later candle. That's when the entry triggers. The stop loss goes at the sweep extreme, the furthest point price reached during the sweep. And the take profit goes at the opposite end of the range by default. So the full sequence is range forms, price sweeps the range, BPR forms, price retraces to the BPR, entry triggers, all automatic. Now let's go through every setting. First, trading sessions. You've got 3 sessions you can configure. Each one has an enable toggle, a name, and a time window with this clock-style picker. By default, all 3 are enabled. Session 1 is London, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time. Session 2 is New York, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Session 3 is Asian, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. You can change these to whatever times work for your market. The time zone drop-down at the bottom controls how all the times are interpreted. So if you're trading from London, switch it to Europe/London and the times will adjust. Each session gets its own background color on the chart so you can visually see when it's active. Blue for London, green for New York, purple for Asian. You can customize these colors. If you only trade one session, say New York, just disable the other 2. The indicator will only scan for setups during your active sessions and ignore everything else. Next, the pre-session range. This is the look-back period before each session starts. The default is 90 minutes. So if New York starts at 8 a.m., the indicator looks at the high and low from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. and draws those levels. You can adjust the look-back. A shorter look-back, say 60 minutes, gives you a tighter range. That means more sweeps but smaller potential moves. A longer look-back, say 120 minutes, gives a wider range. Fewer sweeps but bigger moves when they happen. You can customize the range high and low colors and toggle the filled zone between them on or off. BPR settings. This is the core of the indicator. First, BPR type. You've got 2 options. Any BPR means the 2 opposing FVGs just need to overlap after a sweep. The indicator doesn't care whether the first FVG was touched by price before the second one formed. This gives you more trades because the conditions are looser. Unmitigated BPR is stricter. Here, the first FVG must remain completely untouched by price before the second FVG forms. If price wicks into the first FVG's zone before the second one appears, the BPR is invalidated. This gives you fewer trades, but the setups are generally higher quality because the first FVG's liquidity is still intact. We'd suggest trying both on your pair. Switch to full table mode and compare the stats. You'll see how each mode performs over the same chart range. Max candles after sweep controls the detection window. Default is 15. This means the BPR has to form within 15 candles of the sweep. Lower this and you'll only catch fast, sharp reversals. Raise it and you'll catch slower BPR formations too. But you might get some lower quality setups where the momentum has already faded. The rest of these settings control how the BPR box looks on the chart. You can set the bullish and bearish BPR colors, the text inside the box, its size, alignment, and how many candles the box extends forward. All purely visual. They don't affect the logic. Take profit modes. This is important. You've got 3 options and they fundamentally change how your trades are structured. Dynamic is the default. Your take profit is set at the opposite end of the pre-session range. So if you entered a buy after a low sweep, your TP is the range high. If you entered a sell after a high sweep, your TP is the range low. This gives you natural, market structure-based targets. The range levels are where liquidity sits on the other side. Price is drawn to those levels. Your stop loss stays at the sweep extreme. Fixed RR lets you set a fixed risk to reward ratio. Default is 3.0. The indicator calculates your TP based on the distance from entry to stop loss, multiplied by the ratio. So if your entry is at 2,000, your stop is 10 pips away at 1,990, and your ratio is 3, your TP is 30 pips away at 2,030. Simple and consistent. The stop loss still stays at the sweep extreme. This is useful when you want standardized targets regardless of where the range levels are. Fixed RR from TP is the third option, and it works differently. Here, the TP stays dynamic and at the range level, but the stop loss gets recalculated backward using the ratio. So if the range target is 15 pips from entry and your ratio is 3, the indicator calculates 15 divided by 3 equals 5. Your stop gets set at 5 pips from entry instead of wherever the sweep extreme was. Why is this useful? When the range is narrow. If the dynamic TP is only 10 pips away, but the sweep extreme is 20 pips back, your risk to reward would be terrible. You'd be risking 20 to make 10. Fixed RR from TP solves this by tightening the stop to maintain your minimum R to R. The ratio input is shared between fixed RR and fixed RR from TP. You can adjust it in half-point increments. The trend filter is optional, off by default. When you enable it, the indicator adds a moving average to the chart. You can choose between EMA and SMA and set the period. Default is 50. When it's on, buy entries only trigger when price is above the MA, and sell entries only trigger when price is below. This keeps you aligned with the higher trend instead of fighting it. This can help filter out losing trades in strongly trending markets, but it will also filter out some winners, especially during session opens when price is transitioning. It's a trade-off. We'd suggest testing with it on and off on your specific pair and session. Compare the full table stats to see if it improves your results. FVG display is off by default. When you turn it on, you'll see individual fair value gap boxes drawn on the chart during each session. Green boxes are bullish FVGs, the gap between the first candle's high and the third candle's low. Red boxes are bearish FVGs, the gap between the first candle's low and the third candle's high. The dashed line in the middle of each box is the 50% midline of the FVG. This feature is a learning tool. It helps you visually see the two FVGs that overlap to form the BPR. Once you understand how BPRs form, you might want to turn this off to keep the chart clean. But when you're first learning the model, it's extremely helpful. You can customize the colors and how many candles each FVG box extends forward. All FVG boxes are cleared at each session start, so the chart doesn't get cluttered. Entry label styles. 7 options. Let's look at a few. Side label plus arrow is the default. You get a price label offset to the right of the candle and a directional arrow on the candle itself. This is what we recommend because it doesn't obstruct the candles. Label plus price is the traditional style. The label sits right on the candle with the full entry price. Clear and informative, but it can cover important candle information. Small arrow is minimal. Just a tiny directional triangle above or below the candle. Dot at level places a circle marker at the exact entry price level. Very clean. Side label is like side label plus arrow but without the arrow on the candle. Line plus tag draws a short horizontal line at the entry price with a tiny tag. Diamond shape uses TradingView's native plot shape to draw a diamond. This one renders differently because it's a plot shape rather than a label. Pick whichever keeps your chart cleanest. You can always switch. 2 more toggles in Trade Visuals. show SL/TP lines. Draws dashed lines from the entry out to the right, red for stop loss, green for take profit. Each line has a small label showing the exact price. These appear the moment an entry triggers and stay on the chart. Show trade results is off by default. When you turn it on, you'll see win and loss labels at the exact price where each trade closed. Green labels show wins with the achieved R to R, like win 1 to 4.2 R. Red labels show losses as loss minus 1 R. There's also a colored line drawn from entry to exit, green for wins, red for losses, so you can trace each trade visually. This is your backtesting view. Turn it on, scroll through the chart, and you can see every trade the indicator would have taken and how it performed. Combined with full table mode, this is how you evaluate the model on any pair, time frame, or date range. We keep it off by default because it can clutter the chart during live trading. The info table shows you everything happening in real time. Compact mode is the default. It shows which session is active, trend direction if the filter is on, TP mode, sweep status, whether the high and low have been swept, pending BPR status, current trade status, and the entry and SL/TP levels. This is what you want during live trading. Clean, no performance numbers visible. Full mode adds the stats section below. Total trades with wins and losses broken out. Win rate, average R to R, net R in profit or loss, and which BPR type you're using. These stats update in real time as you scroll through the chart. So you can scroll back, watch the numbers change, and see how the indicator performed over any date range. You can position the table in any of the four corners and resize it, tiny, small, or normal. If the table is covering important price action, just move it. Visual style has two options. Subtle is the default. All labels, arrows, the BPR box, and the info panel use semi-transparent colors. They're visible, but they don't compete with the price action for attention. Full makes everything 100% opaque, solid, bold, impossible to miss. Better for screenshots or presentations where you want maximum visual impact. Also in this group, show session background toggles the colored backgrounds during sessions, and show sweep markers toggles the sweep labels. If your chart feels too busy, turn off what you don't need. Alerts are split into 5 categories, each with its own toggle. Entry signals. Fires when a buy or sell entry is triggered. This is the main one most traders want, on by default. BPR formation. Fires when a valid BPR is detected and the indicator is waiting for price to retrace. Useful if you want a heads up before the entry triggers. On by default. Range sweeps. Fires when price sweeps the range high or low. Off by default because it can be noisy. Session start. Fires when a trading session begins. Off by default. Trade result. Fires when a trade hits TP or SL with the outcome. On by default. Entry alerts include the full trade details, entry price, stop loss, take profit, and R to R, all in one formatted message. Trade result alerts include the achieved R to R, cumulative net R, and win rate. These messages are formatted for direct use with webhooks. You can pipe them into Telegram, Discord, or any automation tool without reformatting. To actually receive alerts, right-click the indicator name on your chart, select Add Alert, pick the condition you want from the dropdown, and set your notification method, pop-up, email, webhook, whatever works for you. You'll need to create a separate alert for each condition you want. So if you want entry alerts and trade result alerts, that's 2 alerts to set up. For the recommended starting setup, this indicator is optimized for XAUUSD gold on the 1-minute chart. The defaults are tuned for this: 90-minute range lookback, New York and London sessions, 15-candle BPR window, dynamic TP mode. If you're trading gold, start with the defaults. Don't change anything until you've scrolled through the chart and understand how the signals behave. For Forex pairs like GBP/USD, the same defaults work well. You might want to experiment with the BPR window. Some pairs form BPRs faster than others. It also works on 3-minute and 5-minute charts. The model is based on price structure, not a specific time frame. When you change time frames, the range lookback and BPR window automatically adapt because they're measured in candles and minutes. Here's how we recommend testing on a new pair. First, set table mode to full so you can see the stats. Turn on show trade results so you see every win and loss on the chart. Scroll through a few weeks of data and watch the numbers. If the net R is positive and the average R to R looks healthy, you've got a viable pair. If not, try adjusting the BPR type, TP mode, or enabling the trend filter. That's the complete walkthrough of the Venom model indicator. To recap, it detects liquidity sweeps, identifies balanced price ranges, and triggers entries when price retraces to the zone. 3 TP modes, 2 BPR types, optional trend filter, FVG visualization, 7 entry styles, full stats tracking, and detailed alerts. If you want to get the indicator, head to the DTCtools.com. You'll find the indicator, the MT5 bot, and the signals group all available there. We also have bundles if you want more than one product. And right now, use code PRECISION at checkout for 35% off everything. This discount expires April 3rd. The DTCtools.com. Code PRECISION. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions about the setup or anything we covered in this video, drop them in the comments. We read everything. Thanks for watching.